Chinese hi-fi, Chi-Fi. People have been finding Chinese products that profess to give you better audio quality for less money for a little while now, and that's growing in popularity every single day because now for under $100 you can get really good audio quality. Mostly this is reserved for DACs, amps, and a lot of wired earbuds. But when it comes to wireless earbuds, the options are few and far apart. Until Soundpeats decided to get into the game. Now Soundpeats has been around for a little while, they're not new, but their latest iteration of their wireless earbuds is called the Soundpeats H1, which I have with me today. This is something I bought with my own money. This is an unfiltered, unbiased review and discussion about the Soundpeats H1. I thought you might want to know about this, so I made a video on it. Let's get started. Okay, hi, where do we begin? The Soundpeats H1. This is an $80 device, okay, straight up. For an $80 device, this was actually presented really well. So just because of that, Soundpeats, you get a 10-second montage. Okay, that was the unboxing experience. Honestly, quite a nice experience given the price of the product, so very pleasantly surprised so far. Now, the product itself is this two-tone case with this gunmetal gray on top and black at the bottom. The bottom of the case is actually very reminiscent of the Bose QC earbuds. It's the same kind of plastic almost, just a little bit cheaper feeling. Definitely a bit of a fingerprint magnet at the bottom, but at the top you've got Soundpeats written very nicely and very tastefully in that gunmetal gray. But the moment you open the lid, things get a little bit different because you quickly realize that the lid is actually made from a really cheap quality plastic that feels rather flimsy. Now, the fact of the matter is, guys, I'm clumsy. Okay, there's no other way to say it. I am clumsier on an average day than a teenage skateboarder trying to emulate Tony Hawk on the worst of his days. So I evaluate my products accordingly. They have to withstand my usage, and if they manage to do that, they'll withstand your usage almost guaranteed. And I have a feeling that you're gonna have to handle this with care, not because of the case or the earbuds, but because of that lid alone. Once you're inside that lid though, the earbuds themselves actually look pretty decent. Again, that two-tone gunmetal gray and black theme seems to follow through on the earbuds as well. The earbuds do feel pretty solid. They're not the most expensive, like you can tell that this is a cheaper product, but they are by no means bad. So when it comes to design quality and build quality, I was going to give this good points all around, but that lid is really quite cheap and I'm gonna have to detract from that because if the lid breaks, and I suspect it would with some rough usage, then the whole thing is kind of pointless. You can't take this and put it in your pocket because, well, you'll lose the earbuds or they'll keep coming out. I'm gonna give them a 5 out of 10. Okay, next up is actual comfort and ease of use of the product. My go-to for usability is always the AirPods Pro. This is my golden standard because nothing else is quite compact, quite easy to use and quite pocketable as this device in my experience. So first off, in comparison, we see that definitely it's a little bit wider than the AirPods Pro, but also it's significantly thicker. And that's going to be a bit of a problem because I can tell you walking around with these in your pocket does make you seem a little more enthusiastic than you would like people to believe. Now the case does have a USB-C slot for charging and a little LED light that actually tells you it's charging. When you open up the case, it's got this little battery indicator there with 4 white LEDs to tell you how much case charge there is left. The earbuds themselves are held in place by magnets, and when you take them out, I have to say that these are very comfortable. They're definitely shaped a little more towards IEMs rather than your traditional Bluetooth earbuds, and to that end, they fit the ear really quite well. This is what they look like in my ear. As you can see, it does look kind of flush. If I move around a little bit, you can see that they do jut out a little bit, but I don't feel like it's that much. Now, out of the box, they come with 3 sizes of silicone tips, but only 1 size of foam tips. I guess they decided to save some money there. Nonetheless, it does give you some options. In my testing, I used this for hours on end and I didn't feel too uncomfortable at all. So for comfort and fit, I would rate these very high on the earbuds. Like I would rate these about a 7 out of 10 on the earbuds, but the case is going to get maybe a 5 out of 10 because it's really a bit too chunky for the pocket, and that is where this device is going to stay most of the time. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for the case, 7 out of 10 for the earbuds. Now when it comes to features and usability, it does get a little bit interesting because this case actually comes with wireless charging. It's a nice little addition. I didn't expect that. It does not have active noise cancelling though, and it also doesn't have in-ear detection, which I found to be a little bit of a pain because the thing about these is when you've got them in ear, they work on touch controls. The touch controls itself work more or less fine, but they're not perfect. When you take them out, because it cannot detect that it's not in your ear, the earbuds keep going, the audio keeps keeps going through the earbuds. It doesn't cut off until you put them back in the case. So if you just happen to have these in your pocket, there's a decent chance that you might misclick the side of the device by mistake and end up increasing or decreasing the volume or skipping the track or cutting the phone call. I feel like in-ear detection is one of those really important features for Bluetooth earbuds because it just adds to the experience a lot. On the plus side, the device is IPX5 waterproof rated, or so it claims on the Amazon listing, but here's the weird thing. The packaging actually doesn't claim that waterproof rating, which is weird because if it was, then they would definitely put it on the packaging or the manual somewhere. It doesn't seem to be there. In my usage, I used it on the gym, I sweat a lot, nothing happened. That's not necessarily proof, but you know, it also supports Bluetooth 5.2, so it's got that fast pairing. Again, in my usage, the fast pairing was a little bit hit and miss. Most of the time it works, but here's the thing to remember. The lid is not a smart lid, so when you open it, nothing's gonna happen. To activate that smart pairing, you actually have to take out the earbud and then it'll pair to your device, provided your device already has Bluetooth enabled. It's not a perfect experience. I think 4 times out of 5 it worked fine, but every once in a while it wouldn't really connect that quickly. Battery life is actually staggering. Now they claim 10 hours of battery life, and part of that is because they don't have noise cancelling. These earbuds don't even try and give you any noise cancelling. The upside to that is you get 10 hours of battery life on the earbuds and you get 3 charges with the case, so that's a total of 40 hours. This is what they claim. In my testing, it actually worked longer than 10 hours. My testing was a combination of calls and music, continuous music for hours on end, sometimes on SBC and sometimes on AptX depending on which device I was using, and also game mode for many hours on end. Overall, battery life is very impressive. Now the one other feature that they do advertise both on the box as well as the Amazon listing is game mode, and what this does is reduce the latency to around 60 milliseconds they claim. I haven't measured it, but I can tell you in my hours of playtesting, because that's the kind of effort I put in for you guys really. This is all for scientific purposes, obviously. While there was a little bit of latency when I compared with my wired headphones, if I didn't have it to compare with, I wouldn't notice the difference. It's that good. Combined with the sound quality these give you, more in that in a second, and the fact that positional audio was actually quite good made this a very good gaming experience. Like, these are probably some of the best gaming earbuds that I have heard in a bit. Each bud has 2 microphones for clear call quality, and they use that Qualcomm QC3040 chipset, so that'll ensure that you have decent call quality. But here's a sample of what it sounds like with and without background noise. So I was walking down the street the other day, and randomly this insurance salesman came right up to me, full in like a blazer and a suit or whatever you call the things. I don't know what these guys wear, but they seem to have some kind of uniform. And he said to me, he said, "Hey, do you want to buy some insurance? I sell car insurance." And I said, "No, I've already got a car insurance thing for this year. I'm good." No, you can buy another one." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know if it actually works that way." He said, "No, why don't we just walk into this little cafe and have a chat about it?" And then out of nowhere, as if by magic, we were in a cafe. I was like, "Whoa, what kind of magic is this? How did this happen?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." Let me tell you one thing. I said, "Okay, tell me the thing, but give me a coffee when you're at." "Yeah, before I get you a coffee, I'll tell you the thing." And this is what he said. Now, something to remember is that if you're using these and you've got only one earbud in the ear, make sure the other earbud is in the case and nestled in the case properly, because otherwise, even though you can use one earbud at a time, because it doesn't have that in-ear detection, it's looking at microphones on both ears to actually pick up your voice. And as a result, over calls, I found that voice quality sort of diminished, or you sounded very distant because it was trying to get your voice from the other microphone sometimes. But if you put it back in the case, you should have no problems. Works normally as you would expect. Which brings us finally to the sound quality. Okay, the thing about these is that they are hybrid dual driver, and what that means is it's got one balanced armature and one traditional dynamic driver. They do this so they can split the frequencies up. So instead of you having one speaker to handle all the frequencies, it's got 2 speakers, and they have, you know, split responsibilities so that they can do their jobs better. These are the most detailed that I have ever heard in wireless earbuds at this price range. For $80, the dual drivers work really well. When I first put them in, I used the silicone tips, and to my ear, that sounded a little thin and airy. Having said that, they did seem to have a little more soundstage. The bass wasn't quite there, but what was there was very, very controlled. The highs seemed a little harsh with the silicone ear tips. When I switched to the Comply foam tips though, that changed everything. Suddenly the bass and the sub bass came out of nowhere and made that bottom and low end so rich and so beautiful, while still being surprisingly controlled. Like, the bass is very controlled here, and I am super impressed. I think the highs are pushed forward a little little bit, but you can EQ that out, and I can attest to the fact that it did sound a little more balanced when I did. But there are a couple of caveats. One is when there's a lot of activity in a song in the mids section, which there is, that's where the vocals, the guitars, a lot of it take place, it does tend to get a little confused. That resolution isn't there when there's a lot going on in the mids. It's definitely there with the highs and the lows, but it's not there in the mids. And speaking of resolution, the one thing about the Soundpeats is they have no subtlety. Like, this is not a subtle music reproduction experience at all. It's like if you were listening to a 148-piece orchestra or something, and there's this one guy with a little triangle at the back going ting, 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 ting. You know that nice little subtle ring way at the back? Yeah, this will make it sound like you've got a construction worker with a rebar whacking against the side of a construction post or something. I don't know how construction works. But the point is, the details are rendered, but they're not rendered with any subtlety whatsoever. It's like Soundpeats went, oh, you want detail? Here's some more. Here's some more detail right in your face. You like that? Okay, here's some more. I'm going to get up right in your face. Here, look at all the details. Look at the pores. Look at... That's kind of the Soundpeats in a nutshell. There's a lot of detail, but it's all projected front and center. Some would call this very shouty, but I would say that for the price, I am yet to find buds that give you this level of quality and detail in the first place. I do wish the mids were represented a little bit better, that they were separated better and they had a little more resolution. That is a little bit of a downside, but still overall pretty darn good sound quality for the price, and excellent bass and sub bass, quite honestly, without being overpowering on the song. So good job, Soundpeats. So in summary, who are they for? Look, for $80, I am yet to find more of a value proposition. In terms of usability, it's not that great. It's not there to give you all the greatest, coolest features. It does have AptX, and it does have dual drivers, which means there is a focus on higher resolution audio. On the gaming front, which is their other forte, they deliver 100%. These are probably the best gaming wireless earbuds I have used, period. If you're looking for active noise cancelling, this doesn't have it. If you're looking for the best build quality in the world and the most amazing smartphone related features and apps, none of that is there. It's a basic device that has a few nice things. It's IPX5 waterproof, the best. Okay, fine, I haven't tested the IPX5 waterproof rating. Okay, but that's what they say. It's keeping me in line. Okay, it stays in your ear when you work out. Fair? Okay, fine. It's probably waterproof. And it has excellent battery life. It's got wireless charging, it's got Bluetooth 5.2 fast pairing, it is aptX adaptive capable, and it's got good sound quality, and it's got an excellent game mode. All that for $80 makes this a surprisingly good value for money proposition. On sound quality, I would give it a solid 6.5 to 7 out of 10 given the price, and on actual usability, I would give it a 5 out of 10 because it does lack some of those features. I feel like in-ear detection would have really improved the overall usability experience, and for gaming, I'd give this a 9 out of 10. Easy. Overall, a pretty good device for $80, but will it hold up to its competitors? Stay tuned and find out. Till the next episode, stay happy, stay peaceful, stay colorful.